the 1st at 10 minutes past 8. We've got a temperature of 55 degrees with sunny skies in Beaver County. That's news. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall, in love that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
Hi, folks. I'm with our good friend John Diagardi from Roe Monument. John, you were telling me earlier that people really should not rush into choosing a memorial for their loved one. Now, why is that?
We found that families need to take ample time to grieve first. Grief is not something that we get over, but rather something that we learn to live with. So the length of time to grieve varies from person to person.
You mentioned that the monument can't be placed right away.
That's right. There are certain things that need to take place before a monument can be installed. So it's really worth taking time to think about how to plan and design a memorial that truly reflects a person's life. It's actually a healing activity that helps to alleviate grief.
John, this makes a lot of sense.
It does, and when the time is right to proceed, not only can Roe Monument help families choose and design their memorial, we can help them save as much as 50% by eliminating the middleman.
Thank you, John. Folks, you can learn more simply by visiting RoeMonuments.com.
It's time to wake up and get driving in the fast lane here on Beaver County Radio. It's the morning show that talks about what's happening in the news, locally, regionally, and nationally. There's also music to get you started for the day. It's all brought to you by Patriot Home Care. And now, here is the host of the show, Frank Sparks.
It is 11:12, and it's a Friday morning. And that means every other Friday, Steve Higgins comes and joins us from the Larry Bruno Foundation. Good morning, Steve. How are you, buddy?
Good morning, Frank. Thanks so much for having me. You know, before we get started, Frank, I want to take a quick second to thank you and to thank your radio station for having us on every 2 weeks, because it really means a lot to the foundation. You know, it shows that this station cares about the community. You know, there's so much going on right now, Frank, you know, with playoff football and
Absolutely.
with the election. And there's just so much that you could talk about. And that the fact that you take time to have a community-based organization on and give us the opportunity, it really means a lot to us. And I just want to say thank you.
No problem, buddy. We love local. We love everything about and I've been a part of you know, back in the day when I first started Beaver County Radio, Circle of Achievement, when you guys used to have the dinners all the time down at the Elks, and so it's always been something that's, and I just like to see the progress from where it was in the library to getting to where you guys are now today. And I highly suggest to anybody, if you can get down there and look at the museum, it's awesome. So, you know, I enjoy it every time. And every time I go in there, Steve, I find something different that I didn't see before.
Right.
I don't know if you're sneaking stuff in, you know, we're coming and you're sneaking new memorabilia in there on us, or what's going on. But
kind of. You know, the thing is, Frank, is Joe is our attention getter, Joe Namath, of course. But once you step foot into the facility, you realize that it's so much more than just Joe Namath.
And football.
More than just football. You know, the one thing that we do want to, I guess you could say, fight against is the stigma that we are an all-boys football club. And nothing can be further from the truth of that. And we actually take steps to avoid that kind of stigma. And we just want the whole community to be part of what we're doing. It's not just the all boys football club. You know, we have 2 females on our board. Okay, we induct people of not just sports, of music, business. So we're just a lot more diversified than just football. And I want people to realize that when they come into our facility, which is going to open very soon, they're going to see that. They're going to see that it's not just a sports museum, which is important to have, because in this area, we look at it, Frank, that there's a niche. There's an opportunity here with the way that sports is accepted in Beaver County. There has to be a first-class facility here to reflect what we've done through the years, okay? It's just that most great societies, if you go back in history, if you want to have a great city or a great town, there are certain things that you have to have. You have to have a government that's good for the people. You have to have education. You know, you have to have these things. And you also have to have recreation. And what that does, Frank, it balances out societies. It goes back to the old days where people worked 7 days a week and they hardly took any time off to rest. And then as time kind of progressed through, people found a little bit of leisure time, like right around 1900 when sports started being accepted in schools. People were saying, okay, it's all right to have a baseball program or a tennis program. You know, since those days where it was like a struggle to get recreation included, people have realized that recreation is that balance that balances out communities, that makes communities great, and you have to have it. And in this area, with the history of high school football and sports, it's just a no-brainer that we should have a facility that reflects that. And that's kind of what pushes the Larry Bruno Foundation with our museum. We want to deliver this. We feel Beaver County needs this, something like this, and that's what drives us to do what we do.
What's some of the things that are, I know you guys are in the process of getting your next Hall of Fame inductees up and running, the foundation inductees. Anything planned in the near future for Larry Bruno Foundation in the facility?
Oh my goodness, we're so hot right now with stuff. You know, I mean, with all this buzz about the Sunday night game last week, the Jet-Steeler game Sunday night. How many facilities, Frank, in the whole country have NBC come in, film in your facility, and then highlight you on the #1 program in America, Sunday Night Football? We are so pumped over this. And Jimmy Carbone's the one that made it happen. Well, let's take one step back further. Joe Namath's the one that made it happen.
Gotcha.
I mean, Joe is the one that gets the attention for us, right? So thank you to Joe. NBC contacted Beaver Falls High School and asked them if they could come in and film some things in their trophy case. When they got there, Jimmy Carbone said to them, "You have to go over to the Larry Bruno Foundation." And the crew immediately responded to Jim, which made me happy. And they told him, "Yes, we've heard of them, and we were going to plan on contacting them. Can you help us with that?" And just the fact that little piece of information was passed on to us, that means so much to us. You know, we've had, because of Joe, Fox Sports from New York City has been in contacting us. We were the host for the HBO film crew for the HBO documentary on Joe's life. We've had so many opportunities with these big media organizations throughout the country through Joe Namath to come into our facility and want to tell our story. And I just think we have to take advantage of this. Okay, we have to take advantage of it. We have to say, hey, look, this is something that we need to do, and that's what drives us. But we have so much going on, and as far as opening our doors, we want to make sure that when we open our doors to our museum that it's complete. Okay, right now we're still working on the sign out front, our exterior sign. The inside of the facility is more or less ready to go. Okay, everything's in place. As soon as we get our sign up outside, we're going to have a grand opening, and it's really going to be something. Okay, we're going to have it's crazy how the people want to get involved. We have the artist of the NFL, Mike Sullivan, who's a world-famous artist,
Right.
wants to be part of our grand opening.
That's cool.
Because of Joe. He's going to donate artwork to be sold, and we're going to raffle off some of his artwork. There's going to be opportunities for local people to own some world-class artwork through our facility. And we want to make sure when we open those doors that we're ready to go. We don't want to open up and then have like a couple months later, oh yeah, we just got this new sign or we just got this. We want people to see it. We want to hit the ground running. And whenever we open up, it's going to be, it's going to be something special, we think.
Well, I got to take my New Brighton jab at you.
Okay.
All right. So was NBC in filming things at the school and stuff before or after the Jug came back to New Brighton? I haven't seen you since the Jug game, so
yeah, right.
I got to get my jab in.
Well, we did deliver the Jug to New Brighton, so they do.
And they promptly broke it.
They are in possession of the Jug. They probably don't know what to do with it.
They broke it.
They haven't had it in so long.
I guess they were down changing the river water out of it, and doggone it, they broke it. Shop teacher's trying to fix it.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the last I heard. I don't know if he fixed it or not.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's worth fixing because
absolutely.
That's something special.
Yeah.
It goes all the way back to 1904, And New Brighton actually started playing football before Beaver Falls.
Right.
And in the early years, real quick, I don't want to get off track with you, but they kicked Beaver Falls' butt. Like the first few years.
Well, that's why it's good for us to have it back because we've been getting our butt kicked by Beaver Falls for how many years?
You guys were originally the power, and then we kind of snatched it away from you, and then we've been battling it out ever since. But I just want to, like I say, there's so much going on with the foundation. We're going to open our doors. We're planning on January, February.
Okay.
And we're going to get that new sign up, so people are going to see a lot of changes on 7th Avenue with that happening. And then once it opens up, man, we're expecting just the floodgates just to roll.
All right.
That'll
be cool.
We're excited.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah,
absolutely. So, all right, are we ready to talk to our guest today?
Big Lou.
All right, so this is the only other guy that got away with wearing the number 19 in Beaver Falls, I guess.
You know what? This guy's one of the greatest quarterbacks that ever wear the orange and black. Okay, he's the last quarterback to wear number 19. I'm talking about Lou Sincar, who's our guest today.
Is it true that Joe Namath is who presented him with the number 19 for him to wear? I heard that story before.
Actually, it was Coach Bruno.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Coach Bruno, because after Joe, it was like no one's going to wear this number.
Right.
Well, here comes Lou Sincar in 1964 and 65. And Coach Bruno's seen something in this kid, okay? He's like, okay, this kid's good. And he broke out the number 19. He let Lou wear it. And, Lou's the type of guy that takes things seriously.
Gotcha.
And he took that seriously. And, by the time he was done with his career at Beaver Falls, he had broke most of Joe's records. There was a couple he didn't break, but he broke most of Joe Namath's passing records. And he wasn't only a football player. I mean, he batted .620 for the Tiger baseball team.
That's a heck of a batting average in high school.
And that's back when Beaver Falls was one of the top teams in the Whippeal. They were winning championships all through the 60s in baseball, and Lou was a big part of that. He went to the University of Cincinnati as a quarterback. He happened to have Greg Cook ahead of him. Greg Cook's a future NFL guy, played for the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So Lou's a pretty smart guy. He switched over to defense, and he played strong safety for the Bearcats, and he was also one of their best punters they've ever had. He punted for the Bearcats, okay? After his college career, this man became one of the top winningest coaches in Ohio football history. And if you know anything about high school football in Ohio, they have it pretty much all over PA. I mean, Ohio high school football is one of the best in the whole country, okay? Just to give you a couple, I mean, his resume is so heavy, but this guy here, in 1977, he became a head coach of Forest Park High School in Ohio. And since 1977, this guy, I tell you what, he coached 3 sports. I'm sorry.
So he coached wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling,
well?
track and field, and football. Okay, now
we're talking about Lou like he's not here no more. He coached 3 sports.
Let's
bring him in and say good morning to him.
Well, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't want to undercut him real quick.
Right.
In wrestling, he was a conference coach of the year twice.
Wow.
Okay. In track and field, he owned 4 on 4 occasions since Cincinnati team won the Ohio District, and he was a 2-time high school coach of the year. In 22 years of coaching football, I mean, this guy, I mean, he's coached 14 individual Ohio State track champions, 2 individual runner-up wrestling champions, and 152 of his football players have gone on to Division I scholarships.
That's
this guy's
awesome.
Unbelievable, okay? I could go on and on about him, but how about we bring him on and let Lou talk a little bit?
All right. Good morning, Lou.
Good morning, Frank. Steve.
Hey, Lou.
How's everything in the valley today?
Oh, beautiful, Lou.
It's getting cold, but it's warm, But my first question for you, Lou, is: did you want the number 19, or I mean, obviously that's an honor when you got it. Were you expecting to go with a different number to start with in high school, and then you were honored with getting that number?
Well, I started out with 17.
Okay.
And I wanted 19 because that was Joe's number. That was my high school hero, just like 19 was Johnny Unitas, which was Joe's hero, his idol. So we were watching film one day. After my freshman year, sophomore year, we started watching film as soon as the season was over, Coach Bruno and I. And we were sitting there one day, and Mr. Ross came in and said, well, you're not going to believe this, but our president just got assassinated. It was November 23rd, 1963, 22nd, 1963, and that's when the assassination of Kennedy happened. So we didn't have school that next week. We came back and we were watching film again just before Christmas break. The day we were going to go for Christmas break, he turned the lights on and threw the jersey at me. I was like, you're kidding me. I was like a little kid, geez. Thanks, Coach. He said, now, look, I'm going to tell you what, you're not going to be as good as him, but I know you'll work hard at it. So that was it. That's how I got number 19, and I try to live up to the guy that worked before.
That's a pretty cool story. I love it. So, and then surprising you by turning on the lights and just throwing it at you. I love it. So, tell us a little bit about your time growing up in Beaver Falls, and what's your thoughts of football then compared to football nowadays?
Okay, growing up in New Galley and coming to Beaver Falls High School was a pretty big shock for me. The thing that got me was the last time I was on this radio was 60 years ago. I was sitting downstairs in Coach Bruno's basement in Patterson Township, and it was the Player of the Week, the Larry Bruno Show. And that was the last time I was on WBVP, We Boost Valley Progress. I can remember it very clearly because when we came downstairs, he said, don't talk till I tell you to. And then he gave me instructions. I said, okay, I understand. But football's changed so much from the time that I went to high school, and a lot of it has to do with the training, the coaching instruction, and strength training. We had a pretty good football team. I mean, you talk about the center was Ken Shoemaker. He went to Pitt. The right guard was Terry Cunnings. He went to Kansas. The right tackle was Larry Musgrave. He went to Ohio University. The right end was Van Golemont. He went to Miami of Florida. Left guard was Tachik. He went to Princeton. The left tackle was Danny Jones. He went to Western Texas, Texas State. Lou Zagorski went to Colorado State. The left end, Lou Zagorski, is still my best friend. We talk maybe 3 times a week. I talk to Van all the time. And, of course, the right halfback was Butch Russo, went to Texas El Paso. And the left halfback was Jack Tracy.
Jeez.
Went to Delaware.
Now I know why we were getting our butts kicked back in.
Frank, let me interject this. Golemont, Tracy, and Russo were 1, 2, 3 in county scoring that year.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this team that Lou's talking about, it's one of the top 10 teams in Tiger history. They scored the most points next to the 1960 team than any team ever.
Wow.
And they were runners-up in the WPIAL that Lou's senior year. Great team.
That's a pretty cool accomplishment.
Great team.
All right, what we're going to do is we're visiting with Steve Higgins from the Larry Bruno Foundation this morning, along with Lou Sincar, who is part of the Larry Bruno Foundation as well, and catching up with him, talking about his days in high school. And we're going to talk a little bit about NIL money. We're going to also talk about athletes. And, Lou, you alluded to it there a little bit about training with the athletes today compared to high school kids and the way we trained back in the day, even with me in the 70s and 80s, compared to what they are today with these new facilities we're opening up for these kids to be a part of as well. So we'll talk about that and much, much more coming up. But it is time for Curtis Walsh and Headline News here on Beaver County Radio.
Thanks, Frank. We can expect partly sunny skies today, reaching a high of about 57 degrees. We'll have a closer look at the Beaver County forecast after we take this look at news headlines coming up at 9:05. We'll have details on an investigation underway into the cause of a fire that broke out last night in Raccoon Township. Duquesne Light Company has announced that they have plans to relocate their headquarters from downtown Pittsburgh to the north side. A judge in Philadelphia has put a state challenge on Elon Musk's $1 million a day voter sweepstakes. And the national and state Republican parties appealing a Pennsylvania court ruling that relaxes the rules for mail ballots. More on those stories and more coming up at 9:05. We can expect partly sunny skies today, reaching a high of about 57 degrees. Mostly clear tonight, going down to a low of 38. Partly sunny tomorrow, a high reaching near 60. And Sunday, partly sunny skies with a high of about 66. On this Friday, November the 1st, at 31 minutes past 8, we've got a temperature of 55 degrees with sunny skies in Beaver County. That's news. I'm Curtis Walsh on 99.3 FM and AM 1230 WBVP, also streaming at beavercountyradio.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Matz. It's been my honor to represent you in Harrisburg. Now, I know the last few years haven't been easy. Folks are working too hard for too little, and politicians just point fingers instead of solving problems. I stay focused on helping you. Investing millions here to create good jobs and raise wages, leading the fight against big corporations to eliminate junk fees and fighting tax increases. And I'm looking after those who looked after us, lowering the cost of prescriptions and investigating mistreatment in nursing homes. I'm proud to be endorsed by organized labor, police and firefighters, Governor Shapiro, and folks from both parties. I've avoided the drama in Harrisburg and stayed focused on delivering for Beaver County. I'm Rob Matze, and I'd be humbled to continue working for you.
Paid for by people from Matze.
Looking for a great job opportunity? McDonald's now has full-time and part-time positions available to fit your lifestyle and needs. Set up your own hours and have a lot of fun too. Whatever your situation is, McDonald's has a place for you. Apply today at mchire.com. McDonald's is here for you. I'm loving it.
Do you remember Thanksgiving and Christmas, how scrumptious your turkey from Jones Turkey Farm was? Why not get one now? They've got chickens and turkeys for $2.50 a pound. Turkey breast just $3.50 a pound. Get it fresh or get it frozen. Just get it. They're all natural, free-roaming, preservative-free, and handled with extreme care. Order now on their fantastic website store, jonesturkeyfarm.com, or call 352-2450 for the tastiest turkey in Western Pennsylvania. It's the Jones Turkey Farm in Cabot. Quite simply, the best.
Attention veterans. Enjoy a ticket-only event at the Senior Center at the mall inside the Beaver Valley Mall. There are only 250 tickets available, so be sure to stop in the center and reserve your seat to attend this event on Friday, November 8th from noon until 2 p.m. Complimentary tickets for veterans, but you still need to pre-register, and non-veterans are only $3 but must pre-register as well. Remember, this is a ticket-only event. This event includes an honor guard salute, picnic lunch, chili cook-off, and enjoy the sounds from the Project Band. This event is presented by the Center at the Mall and the Beaver County Office on Aging. Sponsors include Vietnam Veterans Chapter 862, Aetna Medicare Solutions, Patriot Home Care, and BMS Cat and Gallagher Home Health Services. Don't miss this big event. Make your reservations today and enjoy great company, food, and entertainment. Join us as we salute our veterans. Call the center for more info at 724-774-5654.
Hi, y'all. My name is Kenyon Johns, and I'm running to be your next state representative in District 14. With our representative retiring, we need strong leadership to move us forward. And with my experience as a lifelong Beaver Countyan, the current mayor of the city of Beaver Falls, with the proven track record of improving our communities and the Commonwealth as a whole, I am that candidate. As your next representative, I will fight for a more prosperous and thriving community with strong investment in education, good-paying jobs, and a better quality of life for us all. Get involved at KenyaJohns.com and vote Kenya Johns.
Paid for by people for Kenya Johns.
Beaver County Radio, your hometown radio station. You're listening live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, proud to call Beaver County home.
Hot coffee in the morning and Frank Sparks. Now you're in the fast lane. 99.3 FM, 1230 WBVP, and streaming live on BeaverCountyRadio.com.
Back here on Driving in the Fast Lane, it is 8:36, and it's currently sitting at 56 degrees as the temperature's falling this morning. Is it cold out there? It was 68 degrees when I came to work at 5 o'clock this morning.
Well,
I haven't been out the door since.
Walked out my door in Bridgewater, and it actually felt warm.
Okay.
And when I got up here on the hill, it was cold.
It was cold. No, that's normal for up here on the hill, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But all right, we're visiting with Steve Higgins from the Larry Bruno Foundation this morning, making his bi-weekly appearance. And also on the phone line, we're being joined by Lou Sincar, who is a member of the Larry Bruno Foundation, one of the Hall of Fame members as well, talking about sports in high school. And, you know, one of the big topics that's out there right now, Lou, is the NIL money. We've got a new facility that just opened here in Beaver County. Jimmy Christiana opened it, the M7 facility that does exactly that and gets these athletes ready for whatever the next level is for them. And even at the high school level, what's your thoughts about that? I mean, because we never would think of something like that back when, you know, I grew up in the 70s, you guys in the 60s. There's just no you know, it just doesn't relegate in my head high school kids getting paid NIL money.
Well, first of all, you have to talk about the big changes that have happened in just in high school football. And back in 1964, 65, 66, we didn't have a weight room. When I coached in Cincinnati, we played against Moeller High School. And in 1972, Jerry Faust, who later went on to coach at Notre Dame, had a weight room at Moeller High School and paid a weight coach. Right now, all these big programs pay a strength coach anywhere between $10,000 and $20,000 just to work the weight room. So the individuals that are participating in the sports are much stronger, much faster, because they also do conditioning. And they go to camps. You know, it all starts out like in 64, I went to camp. I went to the Joe Paterno quarterback camp. And there were 5 of us, along with Coach Phillips, who was the coach at Montour. His quarterback, Burkhart, went to Penn State. Dickie Frasca from Altoona went to Kentucky. Terry Hanratty from Butler went to Notre Dame. Doc Maddich from Moon Township went to Pitt, and I went to Beaver Falls, and Coach Phillips was the guy that slept in our cabin. Today, the intensity is unbelievable. One of my best friends in Cincinnati charges the kids $1,000. He gives them 10 lessons. They go to the chalkboard. They watch film. They learn how to read defenses. For 10 different lessons, they charge them $100 a piece. And they're schooled. Their quarterbacks are schooled. They do that with defensive backs. I coached a couple of defensive backs here in Florida for a while. But it is so intense. The difference is they're so exposed. There's a thing called huddle. Do you know what that is, Frank?
No, I do not.
Okay, each high school in the country And all the colleges and thousands of coaches join Huddle, H-U-D-L.
Okay.
Okay? What Huddle is, school pays between $900 and $1,600 to belong to it. And anybody can be part of their Huddle. So if Beaver Falls is part of Huddle, which I probably they are, you can request to be part of that. You can watch their practices. You can watch every game. And then the individuals who say, I opt into it, can have a highlight film. Now, can you imagine that every kid that has a potential to go to college has a highlight film? Well, guess who else watches these? Agents. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I worked for an NFL agent for 10 years, AMG, Cats Management. They have one guy particularly watching high school now because of the NIL. The NIL right now is out of control. The reason why it's out of control is, let's take, for example, the quarterback that goes to University of Las Vegas, Nevada. He was told by a group of people. Now, these group of people, they're called the collection. You aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's say 3 guys from Ohio State, ex-pros, decide that they're going to start a collection. They put money into collection, and they can go ahead and recruit a guy and say, look, if you go to the University of Las Vegas, Nevada, we're going to pay you so much money, maybe $80,000, $100,000. Okay, the kid gets there, and he's starting quarterback, and they're undefeated, and he walks in the coach's office. Now, are you aware that coaches don't know who's bought these kids? There's high school coaches don't know this, neither do the college coaches. So this conglomerate or collective has bought this individual. They have promised him to give him money. He goes to Las Vegas. He's having a great year. He walks in the coach's office, unknown, unannounced, sits at the chair and across from him and says, I want to be redshirted. Why? Because I'm not getting paid. What? I was told I'd be paid if I came to Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm not being paid, so I'm going to be redshirted, and I'm hitting the porthole in December. What? Yes. So now the kid just basically opted out because, he didn't get paid. Over 250 athletes right now that have been promised money for the NIL haven't made a cent. On the other hand, there are guys from my high school that are going to either Ohio State or one's headed for Alabama next year. They've already got packages set up for them. And if they do it right, and a lot of them have agents, they set up some type of trust fund for the individual so that over the years that they're there, they will receive so amount of money then and then after they graduate. The problem with all this is there's no regulations. There's no set regulation on anything for the NIL. Ohio State has $20 million. $20 million right now to give kids every year for the NIL. There's no cap to that. There's no one saying, what about these individuals that have graduated from high school that have been promised money and they're not? It had caused last year 6,000 college students transferred. 6,000 hit the portal.
That's crazy.
In all sports. Now, let me give you an example of the good part of this. 200 quarterbacks throughout the country in Division I, the Power 5 or Power 4, whatever you want to call it, transferred last year, 200. Right now, the 200 that transferred in the 68, there's 68 Division I Power 5 schools. And those 68 schools, 43 of those schools starting quarterbacks are transfers, Frank.
It's amazing.
43 are transfers. And in the case of quarterbacks, some of them, it's like if you bat 650 or 620, whatever it is, we're going to go give you $2,500. They are basically in school right now making money, and we don't know where we're going to be next year. Let's take example. UC has a pretty good quarterback. We're worried about losing him. He's just a sophomore. Central Florida had a kid named Gabriel. He played there 2 years. Then he went to
Oregon? Oklahoma.
Now he went to Oklahoma first. Then he went to Oregon. He's played 6 years of college football because of that 1 year of COVID.
Right.
In Oregon, Nike pays you right away. So he's making money as a college quarterback. That's one of the things that bothers me is that they can leave anytime they want. As soon as they have any kind of success at the school they're at, they have no obligation.
Right.
And do you know that they don't sign contracts for this?
Oh, wow.
Right? No, there needs to be a commissioner to stop this as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you got 7 year. Like, look at Jack Tuttle at Michigan. 7 years. He just retired. He retired from college football last week. 7 years of eligibility. This guy has been. He's been playing quarterback at Michigan. Only started a handful of games. Has more interceptions than he does. Touchdown passes, but he says the reason he retired is he made enough money that he can live the rest of his life now.
Right. Hey, Lou.
Well, here's the athletes that are really hurting from this. The high school kid, especially high school quarterback. In Cincinnati, there's a quarterback at Anderson High School. He threw for 8,000 yards his junior year.
Wow.
He's thrown this year for 7,000 yards. In 2 years, he's thrown 70 touchdown passes.
Holy smokes.
Okay? Guess what? He doesn't have a Division I Power 5 scholarship. He's 6'2". Do you know why? Well, there's 200 quarterbacks that have transferred. If a kid goes to a school like Youngstown State, and Tressel told me this, they lose 4 to 5 of their best players every year because as soon as they have success at that level, the MAC is going to grab them up. They're going to go to Bowling Green. They're going to go to Akron. They're going to go to Miami of Ohio, OU, Toledo, and they're going to go to the next level. And those guys that were at Toledo and OU and Miami, guess where they go? They go to the Big Ten. They go to the ACC. So you got all these quarterbacks out there. You got a high school kid that's really good, but where's he going to go to school? They don't. It isn't like when I was in high school. If you had a good record and you were on a good team, people looked at you. I mean, it is so sad for really good high school quarterbacks right now. And it's sad for the skilled people because the wide receivers and the running backs, they're all flipping. There was a kid from my high school that went to LSU. He didn't play well. He didn't get to play a lot. LSU gave him $80,000.
Wow.
Okay. They get to keep that money, by the way, when they get it. I mean, he transferred. He's back at Cincinnati. He's the leading ground gainer. He's the leading ground gainer for the Bearcats. Same thing happened to a tight end that went to Ohio State. He transferred back to Cincinnati, and they were able to give the collective were able to give him some money. But most of these kids in the South are driving Mercedes-Benz to school every day because they got money from the NIL. So what has it really done? It has caused the porthole to explode, and it has caused high school kids to be out of scholarships. The amazing fact is this. In Ohio, in 2023, only 81 players that were seniors got full scholarships to Division I teams, the Power 5. Only 81. A lot of other ones went. Now, 740 high schools play in Ohio. Massillon and McKinley in that year did not have a scholarship athlete go to a Power 5 school. That is what
that's hard to believe.
That is what NIL has done.
It's hard to believe.
And I talk to coaches about this all the time. That's what the NIL has done, and that's why it's caused the porthole. And the porthole is really taking its toll on high school seniors.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had Kyle McCord from Ohio State, starting quarterback, Ohio State University, and because Syracuse offered him more money, he went to Syracuse. That's unheard of.
Well, what about the starting quarterback from Texas? He was at Ohio State. He transferred to Texas. The oil money. There's two of them right there.
Right.
Well, how about the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yeah.
That was before NIL. But I know his father, and he was very upset that he wasn't playing at Ohio State. So he goes to LSU, wins a national championship, number one guy taken in the draft. So it was a good thing for him. Look, it is a good thing for a lot of athletes to be able to do this. But I think you can put a stop to it right away.
Okay.
And that is they can't play the first year.
We're visiting this morning with Steve Higgins from the Larry Bruno Foundation, as well as one of the members of the Hall of Fame, Lou Sincar, and we're talking NIL and high school sports. This morning, the difference between back in the day and now is amazing. But we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with more right after this here on Driving in the Fast Lane on a Friday morning.
Start your day with breakfast at McDonald's. Enjoy their 2 for $5 sausage egg McMuffin. Whether you're on your way to work or on your way to school, McDonald's has the right breakfast for you. McDonald's breakfast. I'm loving it.
Hi, I'm Roman Kozak, and I'm the grandson of 4 World War II Nazi labor camp survivors. My family is the American dream story, and in the Pennsylvania State House, I want to work to ensure that the American dream is there for our children and grandchildren in our region for generations to come. I will fight to reduce the cost of living and tackle inflation by stopping Harrisburg overspending, harnessing Pennsylvania energy to reduce our utility costs, and pushing for real tax relief, especially for our seniors. I will work to make our communities safer by supporting our law enforcement and making sure they have the resources they need to get tough on crime and illegal immigration. And I will work relentlessly to grow our economy with smart regulatory and tax reform. I'm honored to be endorsed by outgoing State Representative Jim Marshall, the National Rifle Association, our local and state police, and business leaders and labor groups across our community and Commonwealth. It's simple. Reduce the cost of living, safer communities, economic growth. Vote Roman Kozak to be your next state representative. Paid for by Citizens for Kozak.
Tune in to Beaver County Radio 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP every Monday and Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. for Thinking Logically with Joe Corsai. It is an all-new show that takes a look at the conservative side of politics. Thinking Logically is also presented on the WBVP-WNBA Facebook page and YouTube channel. That's Thinking Logically with Joe Corsai each and every Monday and Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. right here on Beaver County Radio.
By now you've noticed the road and bridge construction and the high-speed internet to make Beaver County more competitive. It's your tax dollars at work, the largest investment in rural America ever. It's the work of Republicans teaming up with Democrats, led by Kamala Harris. 12 times Donald Trump held press conferences about fixing our infrastructure, but didn't support the bill. He didn't want to put money in Pennsylvania. He wants the money to go to billionaires. Trump even opposed a joint effort to fix the border problem. Nor did he build the wall, even though he took our tax dollars for that. Giving away our tax money to billionaires like Elon Musk is how Trump ran up the largest deficit ever. Trump's no conservative. He's just using government money to make his friends richer. Donald Trump couldn't care less about the people of Beaver County. He screwed us the first time. He'll do it again. America's Future Majority Fund paid and is responsible for the content of this advertising. AmericasFutureMajority.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WNBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WNBA.
And we are back here on Driving in the Fast Lane. It is 8:54 in Beaver County, and your forecast for today is going to be falling temperatures throughout the day. It is going to be cold as the day wears on today. And then we will have we reached our high already of 68 degrees earlier today. It's currently sitting at 53 degrees. Tomorrow, 59 degrees and sunny. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Beaver County, 65 for your Sunday. And Steve, believe it or not, middle of next week, we're going to be back up in the mid-80s again.
Hard to believe.
First week in November, we're going to be in the mid-80s.
Hard to believe.
I
love it.
Yeah, I do too. I'll take a sweater all the time.
I'll take it.
Visiting this morning with Steve Higgins from the Larry Bruno Foundation, as well as Hall of Fame member from the Larry Bruno Foundation, Lou Sincar. And we've been talking about NIL, and you had a money you wanted to throw out there.
I wanted to say,
question,
Lou,
you wanted to throw
this
at
is
him.
fascinating, this information you're laying out for us. It's really interesting. And what I'm kind of getting from this, Lou, and I want you to let me know if I'm on the right track. It seems like from what you're saying is the number of players that are participating in this transfer portal is much higher than kind of that everyone anticipated. And the fact that you have so many people, players participating, compounded with the fact of these groups that you mentioned, like Huddle, for example, are not communicating with coaching staffs of universities. Okay, that fact and the fact that there's so many kids participating is really hurting this NIL system. Am I reading this correctly?
That there's no set. There's no one running. You have a commissioner in the NFL. You have the NCAA. Okay, the NCAA needs to step up and say we have to have regulations. It is really trickled down to where it hurts the high school senior.
Yeah,
it's really trickled down to where a lot of these kids have been promised money. There are hundreds out there that haven't got a cent. There is a stipulation about Division III players. Since they're not scholarship and they're on need, I don't think that they can jump up. But there have been a couple. I mean, if you have a really good kicker at Wilmington, or you have a good kicker at Indiana or Pennsylvania, guarantee you he won't be there next year. They're the first people to go.
So that hurts those type of programs as well, right? Because they're losing players, yeah.
So when they came up with this NIL idea and that, it seems like the transfers are probably quadruple what they were expecting they were going to be from the beginning.
Oh, more than that. More than that. The idea was in image and likeness, that you were going to get paid for selling your jersey number. Someone sold your jersey number.
Mm-hmm.
Or that you could get paid for doing a commercial if a company did a commercial for you in your image and likeness. But then it just got down to pay to play. It got out of control. What you really have today is boosters paying for kids to go to school. And it is also, in some places, a bad thing for the high school coaches. First of all, I used to work camps too. And I'd work Tennessee, and I'd work Notre Dame or Penn State's camp or Ohio State's camp, Youngstown State's camp. You get to meet coaches and stuff. And up north, we talk football. We watch film, talk about developing kids, building character. In the South, they talk about how much they're going to get paid if their kid visits the school.
That's crazy.
Different.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about
the same thing. It's the same thing.
And
who's getting paid? The high school coaches. That's why everybody was on probation in the South. You have a national championship team at Auburn, and you find out that there's a coach at Memphis, and I used to work with those guys at camp. They'd say 5 for 5. I'd say, what's 5 for 5? I had 5 kids visit that did 5 visits, and I made $5,000 a visit.
Jeez. Well, Lou, we appreciate visiting with you today, but unfortunately we ran out of time. Maybe we can have him back in and talk more about this down the road.
I think Lou's a perfect guy for this. You know, if we have an NIL topic and that, this is our man.
Eddie Crow's going to beat me up if we don't get out of here because it's his turn next. So, unfortunately,
I want to say one thing about the little brown jug.
Sure.
Real quick about the.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad played in that game in 1931. For
Wow.
Hackathon. He was a linebacker and a punter. I got a picture of him. And my wife's father, Ken Kester, played for New Brighton.
Wow.
He was a senior. My dad was a freshman.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
Did you guys win the jug every year you were in school that you played, or? Because I know we weren't real good back then.
We only played once.
Okay.
And we tied 7-7.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
I didn't know that.
See, there you go. Some more history to know.
Yeah.
So, well, Lou, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I'd love to talk to you again in the future. This is a very interesting topic, and I think it's a huge topic that a lot of people don't want to get into and discuss about.
We need to protect high school kids.
Amen.
I mean, this is the only true sport right now.
Yeah.
Everybody else getting paid.
Right. There you go. So.
Lou, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been
Steve,
great
thanks
hearing
for
you.
having me. Love the Bruno Foundation.
Go Tigers, brother.
All right, buddy.
Yes, sir. Once a Tiger,
always a Tiger.
All right. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And we'll definitely have Lou back on again in the future because, like I said, that's a huge topic that we could talk all day about this.
Because people want to know about this.
Maybe next time we need to have them at 7.
It's dominating college football so much, but listening to Lou, it's leaking down into the high school.
There you go. So, all right. Well, Steve, we'll see you again in a couple weeks, brother.
Thank you.
All right.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.